Chapter 10, Dragon Season. Upon their arrival at Starlight Canyon, Monica and the Medici family were greeted by a landscape profoundly reshaped by the slow, unyielding passage of time. It was a place reborn, not solely through the will of nature, but through the quiet persistence of human ingenuity, woven carefully into its ancient bones. A century earlier, Monica had departed a wild expanse of canyons, ruled by untamed rivers and roaring waterfalls, their restless currents carving the land, according to no design but their own. Now, those same forces had continued their work, deepening the chasms, widening the valleys, and forging new routes where none had existed before. Water had stripped away layers of ancient earth, exposing fresh seams of stone and mineral, raw, altered vistas that spoke silently of the world's deep and enduring history. The pathways told a story of change just as clearly. Where once there had been little more than dirt tracks clinging precariously to cliff edges, there now ran sleek routes formed from advanced materials, durable yet sympathetic to the land beneath them. Bridges arched confidently across yawning gaps, while visitor centres rose like glass-set gems, nestling respectfully among towering walls of rock. These structures did more than guide travellers through the canyon. They linked the past to the future and tradition to progress. The transformation extended beyond stone and structure, rippling through the living fabric of the canyon itself. The altered terrain reshaped patterns of sustenance and survival, forcing the native flora and fauna to adapt or migrate in search of more hospitable ground. Many creatures that once thrived here had moved on, seeking ecosystems better suited to their needs. As a result, the canyon's once abundant array of monsters had thinned, their absence a quiet testament to nature's constant recalibration. Yet not all had departed. The Gemrun remained, unyielding sentinels in the canyon's evolving narrative. Their resilience proved an unexpected advantage to hunters. With fewer rival predators competing for territory, the Gemrun had become more accessible, no longer shielded by the chaos of interspecies conflict that had once plagued those who pursued them. Starlight Canyon endured still, a constant amid transformation, a place that drew countless lives into its orbit. It stood as a living reminder that nature and humanity need not exist in opposition, but could, with care and restraint, share the same canvas. Together, they had shaped a landscape that balanced the raw spirit of the wild with the measured touch of civilization, a masterpiece still in the making. Lady Medici and Monica divided into two groups as they prepared to venture deeper into the canyon. Monica would lead one party alongside Arnold and her handmaiden, Lisa, while Lady Medici chose to accompany her two eldest sons, Lawrence and Clive. The decision spoke volumes. Without a word, Lady Medici entrusted the Queen's protection to Arnold. Her unspoken preference for her favourite sons was painfully apparent. Each member of the expedition was equipped with advanced rifles, engineered specifically to exploit the elemental weaknesses of their quarry. The weapons were formidable, designed to end encounters swiftly and decisively. Monica, however, chose to keep her sword secured at her side alongside her firearm, a quiet assertion that she preferred to be prepared for any outcome, however unlikely. While Lady Medici pressed ahead, eagerly pursuing Gemrun whenever they appeared, Monica, Lisa, and Arnold deliberately kept their distance, allowing the hunt to unfold without them directly engaging. As they walked, Arnold broke the silence, his tone open and thoughtful. "I must admit, Your Highness, I'm surprised you chose me to accompany you rather than my brothers." She glanced at him and offered a small, reassuring smile. "Please call me Monica," she said gently. "And I chose you because you impressed me on the journey here. Lawrence and Clive may appear confident, but they are both careful, constantly measuring their words and actions for fear of falling out of favour with your mother. You, on the other hand, speak honestly. You aren't afraid to say what you believe." Arnold hesitated, then let out a quiet breath. "Compared to them, I feel like a nobody," he admitted. "Lawrence is training to become a knight. Clive is determined to make his mark as an entrepreneur. I don't have a clear ambition, nothing that would benefit my family." His voice softened. They wouldn't approve of it anyway. Monica slowed her pace slightly, giving his words the weight they deserved. She recognized a familiar ache in Arnold's quiet honesty, the pain of measuring oneself against expectations that never truly fit. Monica met Arnold's gaze and gently placed her hands upon his shoulders, her touch warm and grounding. "Listen to me, Arnold," she said softly. "I understand why you feel this way." Her eyes held his, steady and sincere. "But life isn't about forcing yourself into roles chosen by others. Sometimes it's those who dare to step beyond expectation, who carve their paths, that leave the deepest mark. Your independence, your willingness to think differently. Those are not weaknesses. They may well be your greatest strengths." Arnold swallowed, visibly moved by her words. "Wow. Thank you, Your Meiji." He caught himself, a small, uncertain smile forming. "I mean, Monica, you speak like someone who's already walked that path." Her expression softened, and after a brief pause, Monica nodded. "I have," she said quietly. She told him then of her journey through time, of arriving in an era where no one knew her name or her title. For the first time in her life, she had been free from expectation, free to exist as herself. That anonymity, she explained, had given her a sense of independence she had never known. Her voice grew more distant as she recalled palm brinks, no guards, no protocol, just two teenagers sharing a simple moment beneath a fading sky as they intend to save the world. In that moment, she admitted softly, I felt like I belonged, truly belonged, and I would give anything to feel that again. The air seemed to hum with the weight of her memories until it shattered. Lisa's scream tore through the calm like glass breaking. Monica spun around just in time to see a hulking, bipedal purple dragon emerging from the canyon shadows, its massive claws wrapped tightly around Lisa's struggling form. Thick saliva dripped from its snarling maw, its eyes burning with predatory intent. "Help me, Your Majesty," Lisa cried out, her voice raw with terror. In an instant, nostalgia gave way to instinct, and the hunt became something far more deadly. Resolve blazed in Monica's eyes as instinct took hold. She cast her rifle aside and drew her sword in one fluid motion, steel singing as it cleared the scabbard. The armband at her wrist pulsed in response to her will, and she channeled its power without hesitation. A surge of ice magic burst forth, a frigid torrent that slammed into the dragon's towering form. The freezing blast struck true. With a furious roar, the creature recoiled, its grip loosening as ice crawled across its scales. Lisa was flung clear, tumbling to the ground as the dragon redirected its rage towards Monica. Monica stepped in front of her at once. blade raised. "Go!" she ordered, never taking her eyes off the beast. "Thank you, my queen," Lisa cried, scrambling to her feet. "Stay with Arnold and keep your distance," Monica commanded, her voice calm and unyielding. "I'll deal with this." "Yes, my queen," Lisa replied, retreating swiftly to Arnold's side as he raised his rifle, ready to support her. The dragon lunged. Its massive body surged forward with terrifying speed, claws outstretched to crush her. Monica leapt high, narrowly evading the deadly grasp. Twisting mid-air, she landed behind the creature and struck with ruthless precision. Her blade flashed once clean and decisive, severing the dragon's left wing in a spray of blood and shattered scales. The beast howled, clutching the ruined limb, as its scream echoed through the canyon walls. Enraged, it retaliated with a barrage of fireballs, hurling molten fury toward her. Monica met the assault head-on. With practiced skill, she absorbed the flames into her sword, the metal glowing white-hot as it drank in the fire. Then, she turned the energy back upon its source, sending it roaring towards the dragon. Though fire was not its natural weakness, the unexpected counter struck hard, scorching flesh and staggering the creature. The dragon roared again and slammed the ground with titanic force. A shockwave rippled outward, splitting stone and sending debris flying. Monica lost her footing and plunged into the river below, her body crashing against the rock face. At the last moment, she managed to catch herself, pressing her fingers into the ledge as the icy water surged beneath her. Above her, the dragon loomed. Its jaws opened wide, fire building in its throat. Arnold did not hesitate. He raised his rifle and fired, unleashing a relentless barrage that tore into the dragon's exposed flank. The creature staggered, its aim disrupted by the sudden assault. That was all Monica needed. With a cry of effort, she hauled herself up, leaping skyward with every ounce of strength she had left. Her sword came down in a single decisive plunge straight through the dragon's skull. The beast let out one final thunderous bellow before collapsing, its massive body crashing lifelessly against the canyon floor. Silence followed. The danger had passed. Arnold approached Monica, concern plainly written across his face. "Are you all right, Monica?" he asked softly. As she met his gaze, her thoughts drifted back to the ferocity of the battle, and, unbidden, to memories of fighting monsters alongside Max. A surge of gratitude welled up inside her before she could stop it. She stepped forward and wrapped Arnold in a warm, impulsive embrace. "Thank you," she said earnestly, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for being there when it mattered." "I'm glad I could be," Arnold replied, returning the embrace with genuine warmth. "I was simply doing what anyone else would have done." "And I'm glad I can do the same, Max," Monica murmured. The moment the name left her lips, she froze. She pulled back at once, the colour draining from her face. I'm so sorry, Arnold," she said quickly. I didn't mean to call you that. I truly didn't." "It's all right, Your Majesty," Arnold interrupted gently, his tone calm and understanding. Any trace of hurt was carefully concealed. "After everything you've been through today, it's only natural. Fighting that dragon must have brought back memories of your friend." Monica nodded faintly, though the knot in her chest only tightened. Regret lingered, heavy and unspoken. The truth she kept silent, pressed painfully against her heart. The sorrow of feelings never confessed, of words never spoken, and of a boy taken far too soon. As Arnold stepped back to give her space, Monica remained still for a moment longer, carrying the quiet ache of loss with her once again, an old wound reopened by battle, courage, and the cruel persistence of memory. Lady Medici and her sons eventually returned from their hunt, laden with an impressive haul of Gemron. The thick pelts were already being appraised in their minds, destined to be fashioned into armour, symbols of both utility and prestige, while the rich Gemron meat promised to become a coveted delicacy at future noble banquets. However, the moment they saw Monica standing beside Arnold and the enormous, lifeless body of a dragon, their sense of triumph faltered. "Holy—" Lawrence blurted out, staring in open disbelief. "Did you slay that dragon?" Monica straightened, her composure returning, and she answered with a hint of dry humour. "Actually, the credit belongs to Arnold. Without him, Lisa and I would have been the dragon's appetizers. Isn't that right, Lisa?" Though hesitant, Lisa bowed her head dutifully. "Yes, Your Majesty. Lady Medici's son showed outstanding bravery in defeating the dragon." Lady Medici narrowed her eyes. Her skepticism was unmistakable. "Arnold," she said coldly, "is this truly so? Did you bring down this beast?" Monica turned to Arnold and offered him a subtle, knowing wink, a quiet gesture of encouragement. "I did, Mother," Arnold replied, his voice steady, a trace of pride finally surfacing. "The dragon threatened the Queen, and I refused to stand by. I did what you've always demanded of me, to stop being passive and to act with strength and courage." Lady Medici hesitated. Doubt lingered, but it was eclipsed by reluctant awe. A dragon slain by Arnold. More importantly, he had saved the Queen's life. The political implications unfolded swiftly in her mind. "Regardless," she said at last, masking her calculation behind satisfaction, "its head will make a splendid addition to our family hall." "For Arnold," Monica said firmly, her tone leaving no room for negotiation. "Of course, Your Majesty," Lady Medici replied smoothly, inclining her head. As dusk began to settle over the canyon, the sky darkening with the first scatter of stars, Lisa broke the silence. "It's growing late, my queen. We should return to the vehicles and establish camp." "A wise suggestion," Monica agreed. "Very well. Let us gather what we can carry and head back." Monica, Lisa, and Lady Medici set about collecting the Gemron, their smaller bodies far easier to transport. Meanwhile, the Medici sons undertook the far heavier task of moving the dragon. Lawrence took hold of its massive head with a reverence bordering on pride, while Arnold and Clive shared the burden of its immense hind limbs,